Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel Enjoy Learning Computer Science. In this video, we are going to revise the concepts which we have learned in grade 11 about Python. Come on, let's go into the topic. Tokens. The smallest individual unit in a program is known as a token. Okay, the smallest individual unit in a program is known as a token. It is also known as lexical unit. So tokens are classified into keywords, identifiers, literals, operators, and punctuators. Have a look at this simple example program. Only 3 lines of coding for I in range of 1 to 10. If I percentage 2 not equal to 0, print I. So we have different parts of tokens, different types of tokens here. So the numbers 1, 10, 0, they are all literals. So it is also a token. Punctuators, we have colon, these are all punctuators, which is also a token. Operators, the symbols not equal to percentage, it is also a token. The identifiers, the variables, it's also a token. The keywords which are used in this program, for, if, the in, these are all tokens. A keyword is a word having special meaning reserved by programming language. So every programming language will have a set of keywords. Similarly, Python is also having a set of predefined words with special meaning to the language compiler or the interpreter. So these are the words which are reserved for special purpose, and the keywords must not be used as any variable name. That means you cannot use these keywords as normal identifier names. There are some examples given: none, finally, import, lambda, while, in, or, false, true, etc. Okay. Identifiers. Identifiers are the names given to different parts of the program, like functions, like class, variables, list, tuple, dictionary, and so on. Okay, so identifiers are nothing but the names which are given to the parts of the program. So for naming the different parts of the program, you have to follow certain rules. Okay, so identifier forming rules of Python are: the identifier must be made up of only alphabets, numbers, and underscore. Okay, identifier should contain only alphabets, numbers, and underscore, and the first character must be an alphabet or an underscore. This alphabet can be uppercase or lowercase, but uppercase will be treated in a different way, lowercase will be treated. So upper and lower cases are different. Okay, now the digits 0 to 9 can be allowed in your name, but your identifier name should not begin with a digit. But it can contain a digit, but it should not begin with a digit. And you should not use a keyword as an identifier name, and no special characters are allowed except underscore. Even space is not allowed. Okay, so these are the rules. I repeat, identifiers must be made up of numbers, alphabets, and underscore. The first character should be an alphabet or an underscore, and you can have digits in your identifier name, but it should not begin with a digit. You cannot have keyword as an identifier name. Special characters are not allowed except underscore. I have given some examples for some valid identifiers as well as invalid identifiers. So valid identifiers means the identifiers which contains only alphabets, numbers, and underscore, no special characters, then no space. It should not begin with a number. Okay, now let's see the invalid identifiers. The first one, grade hyphen pay. Here hyphen is a special character which is not allowed in naming an identifier, hence it is invalid. Now 12 underscore 2018 underscore file, here it begins with a number. An identifier name should not begin with a number, hence it is invalid. Here $James007, so here dollar is a special character which is not allowed. Then if So if is a keyword, hence it is an invalid identifier. Roll no dot. So the dot is a special character which is not allowed, and roll space no, here space is also not allowed, hence it is invalid identifier. So in your board papers, some identifiers will be given. You have to find out which are the invalid identifiers and you have to state the reason why it is invalid. Literals or data items that have fixed value or constant values. So literals in Pythons have different types, that is string literals, numeric literals, boolean literals, special literals and literal collections. So string literal can be represented as single line string as well as multi-line string, and numeric literals can be represented using decimal, octal and hexadecimal. String literals. String literals are set of characters or sequence of characters enclosed within quotes. These quotes can be single quotes, double quotes or triple quotes. Okay. Now these string literals can be represented as single line string or multi-line string. So what is single line string? Single line string means the sequence of characters enclosed within double quotes should be terminated in a single line. That means opening quotes and the closing quotes should be on the same line. That is known as single line string. You can look at this example, the first example, Python. So look at the starting quotes which starts in the same line, ending is also in the same line. So this is an example for single line string. These are the next two also are examples of single line string. So sequence of characters enclosed within quotes which terminates in single line is known as a single line string. Multi-line string. Strings that spread across with more than one line are known as multi-line strings. So single line string means it should get terminated in the same line itself. But multi-line string can spread across more than one line. Okay. So there are two ways to create multi-line string. One is by adding backslash and the other one is by adding triple quotes. So by adding backslash means at the end of the word you can type backslash, then you can press enter and the next line you can add the other word, and these two things should be enclosed within quotes. Okay, you can see the example. T1 is equal to started the double quotes, then the word enjoy. So I want to type the word learning in the next line. So before typing enter, include backslash and then type press enter and then type the next word learning, then close the double quotes. Okay, this is one way. The next way is by adding the string within triple quotes. You can see started the triple quotes, enjoy, then press enter, then type the next word in the next line learning and then close the triple quotes. So these are the two ways of creating multi-line string. One is by adding backslash at the end of the line. The next one is include the string within triple quotes. Let me demonstrate multi-line string with an example. So let me create a variable called T1. Here I am going to store good day as multi-line string. Okay, so good I am creating. So let me try to press enter and see what's happened. See, you cannot create a multi-line string without backslash or without including in triple quotes. Okay, I just showed you. Then again I am giving T1 is equal to good, and now I am pressing backslash and then you type enter. So before pressing enter you have to type backslash and you can type in the next line. So when you include backslash you are allowed to create multi-line string. Without including backslash, if you type enter, Python will raise an error. Okay, now let me create another variable called T2 where here I am going to include multi-line string within triple quotes. Okay, so within triple quotes good and pressing enter, and in the next line I am pressing day, closing the triple quotes. So these are the two methods to create multi-line string. One is by including backslash at the end of the line. Other one is by including the text within triple quotes. Now let's see how Python is storing this one. T1. When you see T1, even though we have included backslash, you can see the text is displayed continuously. Okay, that is string good backslash day will be considered as good day only. By including within triple quotes, it will include a backslash n here. Okay, backslash n. That means at the end of the line, it includes a character called backslash n. Under literals, we have completed string literals. Now let's see about numeric literals. So numeric literals can be represented in integer, float and complex. Integer can be further classified into decimal, octal and hexadecimal. Float can be represented in fractional as well as in exponent form. Numeric literals. Numeric literals are numeric values, and these numeric literals can be int or float or complex. So first let's see about int. So int, it is also called as integers or ints. These are positive or negative whole numbers without any decimal point. Okay, whole numbers without any decimal point. It can be positive or it can be negative. That is int. Okay, the integer literals can be written in three forms: decimal form, octal form and hexadecimal form. So what is decimal form? An integer beginning with any digits 1 to 9. That's a combination of any numbers between 1 and 9, that is decimal form. Now octal form is an integer beginning with 0 followed by the letter O. Okay, 0 followed by the letter O. Here octal means it has only 8 digits. So what are those 8 digits? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 and 9 are invalid numbers in octal. Okay, so octal form means an integer beginning with 0 O, and it should have only 7 digits, 8 digits after that, starting from 0 to 7. 8 and 9 are invalid. Okay, now hexadecimal form means an integer beginning with 0x, an integer beginning with 0x and followed by 50, say hexa means 16 digits, right? So what are those hexa 16 digits? 0 to 9. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After that, 10 is represented using the letter A, 11 B, 12 C, 13 D, 14 E and 15 F. Okay, 0 to 9 and A to F, that is hexadecimal form, right? Float. Float are real numbers with decimal point. What is integer? Integer are whole numbers without decimal point. So float, real numbers with decimal point. It can be positive or it can be negative. So this float can be represented in two forms. One is fractional form, the other one is exponent form. Fractional form means the numbers with decimal part. It has a fractional part also. So what is the fractional part? After the decimal point, whatever comes is fractional part. Okay, so 34.67. So this is fractional form. Now how to represent in exponent form? You can see here 0.15 E3. So E3, after the letter E, whatever comes is the exponent form, and the first part before E, it is the mantissa part. Okay, exponent form has two parts. One is mantissa and the other one is exponent. So mantissa comes before the letter E and exponent comes after the letter E. I told you exponent form consists of two parts. One is mantissa and the other one is exponent. So look at this example 10.5. This 10.5 can be represented as 0.105. Just you move the decimal towards your left. Okay, so it will become, how many decimal points we are moving? 1, 2. So it is 10 power 2. So this 10.5 can be represented as 0.105 into 10 to the power 2. So this one we can write as, first you write the numbers here, 0.105, then the letter E, then what is the power? It is 2, so you can write as 02. So what is here, this, the first part is known as the mantissa, and the part which comes after the letter E is the exponent. Complex numbers. Complex numbers are the numbers which are represented in A plus Bj form. Here A is the real part, B is the imaginary part. So A and B are any float numbers, and J is equal to square root of -1, that is the imaginary number. Okay. Now here look at the example, x is equal to 1 plus 0j. Here 1 is the real part, and what comes along with j? What is the coefficient of j? It is 0, that is your imaginary part. So complex numbers are represented in A plus Bj form. Boolean literals. Boolean literals in Python is used to represent any one of the value true or false. True is Boolean true or Boolean false. Okay, it can represent either true or false. True means 1, false is 0. Okay, you can see the example, is student. Here is student is the name of the variable, and I have assigned is equal to true. So if I want to see what is the type of is student, so type of a student, it is giving the output as bool. So what is the data type of the variable a student? It is bool. It can have either true or false. Special literal. Python has one special literal called none. So this special literal none is used to represent the absence of a value. Okay. So if there is no value, that can be represented as none. So none is a special literal which is used to represent the absence of a value. Look at the example, salary is equal to none. I don't know the salary, so I have assigned it to none. So if I want to find out the data type of the salary, type salary, you can see none type. So this is a special type of literal called none, which is used to represent the absence of a value. Python can also store literal collections in the form of tuples, lists, and dictionaries. Token is operators. So operators are also a token that trigger or that force some action to be performed while applied with some variables or literals or constants. Okay, so tokens, operators are also tokens that force some action to happen, that trigger some actions. There are different types of operators. Arithmetic operators, you can see all the arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, double asterisk, and floor division. Okay, bitwise operators, shift operators, identity operators. Relational operators to compare, okay, then logical operators and or assignment operators, membership operators, in, not in, to check whether certain elements are present in another set of variables or list. Then arithmetic assignment operators. So we have different types of operators. So operators are tokens that trigger some action, that force some action. Punctuators. Punctuators are the symbols which are used in a programming language to organize the sentence structure. Like in English or Tamil, we will be using so many punctuators, right? Why do we want to use punctuators? To organize the structure. Similarly, to organize the sentence structure in a programming language, we use punctuators. So punctuators are also tokens. So there are some of the punctuators I have shown here: single quote, double quotes, hashtag, backslash, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, square open parenthesis, square bracket, curly bracket, at, comma, colon, equal to, full stop. So we have completed tokens, the different types of tokens. So what are the tokens? Keywords, identifiers, then literals, operators and punctuators. Hope you have enjoyed revising tokens in Python. For further updates, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Enjoy Learning Computer Science. For any queries, you can comment also. Okay. Thanks for watching my video. Bye-bye.